This is a mock-up walkthrough of the VAM Contact Us module. We'll be talking about the General and Rental tab. When the user comes to this page, basically you will see a ticker that scrolls continuously. The user will be able to have the option to slide the bar to the plus sign, which will increase the speed of the ticker. And if they slide it back to the minus, it will actually slows down the speed of the ticker. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to be talking about is how to add the user contact from different email services. What we want to do is that when the user selects on this tab, it will open up this dialog box, or the box where it will allow the user to log into different email web services, or the OC code. Basically what it does is that once they log into these email services, it will actually add our contact information to each of their individual email services. So say for example they they sign into Gmail, they enter their username, they enter their password, and pretty much adds our contact information into their Gmail. So next thing is to follow through social networking. If the user selects all the icon on these social networking icons, they will be able to follow our social network account. So let's say they selected Facebook, so it will prompt them to enter in their credentials, and from there they will be able to follow us from their social network account. So right now we'll talk about the General and Rental. If you notice on the pull down, it says General. Basically from there the user will enter their name, email, phone number, and to see if we will be able to, if they allow us to use this number for us to send the text or SMSs. Now we can add in the subject, so messages, add in the captcha. Okay, so the next part, let's see, we'll be able to do the rental and leasing. So we click on that, it pretty much does the same thing, however it adds another option which says moving when. So the user will actually have a pull down, and it will actually determine approximately when they want to move in, or if they're just browsing, so they can select whatever they want here, and from there they'll be able to enter their basic information from there. So they'll enter their information, their messages, and their captcha. Okay, now from here you will be able to have a button which will be able to do a search for a vacancy, or they can actually submit. So the tenant tab. So the tenant tab, whenever the user selects a new tab, they will have a page turning effect like what you see here. And if they go to the previous tab, you'll be able to see that the page turning effect is actually the same as turning backwards. So once the user selects a tenant tab, they will be able to have a pull down right here. So for this particular case, you will have 4 options: maintenance, accounting, reporting, complaint, and others. Now notice over here you will be able to have the option to pay rent online. Okay, so as the user enters in their information, email, phone number, and same thing, check to see if they want us to SMS, the user will have to validate their phone number. So basically what this does is that it will validate their phone number with our database, and if their number is in our database, we will allow them to proceed. If not, then they will show an error message. So once they validate this and enter their information, you notice that there will be a pull down on the subject. So each of these pull down topics have different subjects that they can select. So for this particular case, if it's urgent, emergency, as soon as possible, routine, or schedule, upkeep. So from there they can enter the subject and also enter in their message. So the next step we'll be doing is, let's say for example, our accounting. If the user select accounting, same message, however you can see that the pull down here has a different subject that they can select: payment issue, receive notice, fees and charges, others. And over here they also have the option to pay the rent online. So the next part right here, if the user select report and complaint, this pull down changes to the subject changes. So we can see a lease agreement, receive notice, notice to vacate, or others. So, and over here, notice that there's a change in the button. In this particular part where you can see that you have an option to select free report online. And finally, the last part of this subject is others. So if they select others, they'll enter in the same information. However, there is no pull down for them to select. Okay, and they can enter their messages here. Over here, you can have an online rental application that they can select, and it'll go down to the online rental application. And they can enter their message and they can submit. So the next tab will be vendor and contractor tab. For this particular case, once they have these options that they can select, so it can be property condition, work order status, account and billing, QC and inspection, and others. Okay, they can enter in basic information, the property address and their zip code, and the message that they want. Over here, we have an option to go to the online work order. The next thing will be that they can select is work order status. Now from here, they enter in their information, enter their property address, their zip code. They can enter their work order number, and they can enter their message. And from there, you can have also the online work order. The next step will be accounting and billing. So they can choose the accounting and billing. Once they choose this, they have a different scenario where they can enter in the form. They can have an invoice number, the work order number, and the message. So over here again is the online work order. Over here, next step is if they select QC and inspection, same scenario. So they can actually type in, they can actually select or choose the date that they want to have their inspection. Once they enter that, they can enter in their online work order number and their message. Okay, and finally they have others. Enter in their basic information here. Okay, and then they enter in the message and they can submit. And next and final tab will be owner and HOA tab. From here, you can pretty much it also has various selections. It can be legal and by law, accounting and finance, sales and rental, maintenance and improvement, special requests, and others. For this particular case, legal by law, you will be able to enter the basic information, okay, and then you will see online records and archives. And if they decide to select the accounting and finance, you enter basic information, same thing. Okay, enter in the subject and the expected date. Enter the message. We can have an online financial report. And you have sales and rentals. From here, it pretty much does the same. Enter the basic information here, and you can have an online vacancy report button. Next will be maintenance and improvement. Enter in the basic information here with the message. Over here you have the option to go to the online work order. Then if you select special requests, same basic information. Over here you have a button where you can actually use to contact the supervisor. And finally you have others. Again, same basic information. However, there's no other options here, and you pretty much just hit submit.